So this is where I'm in my life right now. I'm taking care of my 17-year-old brother, who's about your age, and I'm only 5 years older than him. And my mother's in Mexico, and she is unable to return to this country for legal purposes that you might also experience with your own families, as the majority of the population here does. And so I'm taking care of him. We just moved to a 2-bedroom apartment, and in Alameda County, or in the Bay Area, that is a huge leap for me because the rent is very high. But this is the thing, I can handle it. I can handle all that, and full-time UC Berkeley, and full-time job. Why? Because I sat right where you're at. Well, not this classroom, this is new, but I was right here. This is where it all started. Actually, Shepherd Elementary, Shepherd Rams, and then here. So this district has a lot to give you, a lot. And if you take advantage of it, wishes and dreams are nothing compared to what you'll be able to achieve. Nothing. Berkeley's known as one of the premier schools of social justice. I'm sorry, who asked that question back there? Yeah. And that's what I was really all about. I saw Berkeley as an extension of Roseland, really. And I chose to go there not just because it's that kind of school, but because I had people here let me know that I could get into the #1 public school in the world, #1 public school in the world. From here, you might think this old little raggedy warehouse has nothing to offer you at this age. You might not. You might actually be very grateful for what you have and be working very hard. But for those of you who think that, high school is it, no, this is not the place for you if you think that way. And I'm sorry to sound very negative, but this is what I received when I was your age, and that's how I made my decisions. That's why I make the decisions that I'm making today. Actually, so Connor here, I tell this story all the time. Our first and only field trip to UC Berkeley was when I was in the 10th grade. And she was sitting on the ride back in the bus. She was sitting right behind me. And those seats on the bus are like this, but you can also smell or hear the person who's behind you or in front of you. Well, she heard me say, as we were leaving UC Berkeley, I looked at the North Gate, popular campus area there, and I whispered to myself, this was an idea that was just secret to myself. And I said, well, I really see myself going here. And so Connor heard that, and she said, yeah, you can do it. When the funders of this school, some of them doubted me, actually, when they would come here, and I mentioned to someone, they asked me, where do you plan to go in 2 years? I said, UC Berkeley. He said, oh, whoa, I don't know about that. Maybe you should try the JC, it's cheaper. You'll be able to afford it. It's right at home. I said, no, thanks for the advice, but I'm going to UC Berkeley. And 2 years later, got in, full ride for 4 years. I'm doing well. And it was all because it started here at the Roseland District. I say, if you're in the 10th grade, start getting your stuff together now and jump to the 4-year track, because you don't have time to waste at the JC track. You don't. And knowing your situation, which was my same place, these are criteria for getting a full ride. If you're broke, if you're colored, and if you're a leader in your community, that equals to a full ride at a 4-year institution. And you can talk to anyone who graduated my cohort, my class, who also went to another UC. Not a CSU, not a JC, but UC. Most of them are getting big money to study there. And when I say full ride, I mean tuition, room and board for at least 2-3 years. And even now, I'm still getting help with financial aid in terms of getting my rent, paying for food, paying for books, transportation, all that. So really, is this a 10th grade class? Yeah. Colleges look at 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, right here. These two. That's it. And I know this because I've spoken to and heard and listened to various college admissions readers. And that personal statement, you gotta really get that going now and really put a lot of effort in it and put your heart and soul in it. And if you have hardships in your life, don't use those as excuses as to why you haven't achieved much with your GPA or what. They don't want to hear excuses. They get a lot of those per year, a lot. How did you overcome those barriers? Who did you access? See, very proactive language rather than this happened to me and this is why I got this GPA, but let me in. That's not gonna be your ticket in, right? Let me tell you right now, the Harvards, the Stanfords, the Cornells, all those universities, the Berkeleys, they're looking to fill in quotas. And what I mean by quotas is students of color, there's so many slots that we have to fill for them. Students of this sort of economic bracket, we have to fill this quota. And the Harvards right now, the Columbias right now, they're looking for the next Michelles and the next Barack Obamas. So don't limit yourself to just California or CSUs or JCs. Take that leap forward. It's a scary leap. I'm about to take it right now again for PhD programs, grad school. Take it forward and go to the East Coast. Get that scholarship.